Hey there, I'm James Smith, CF Pro Tools, and I wanted to run through today and show you a demo of how to install and use the CF Automember Create plugin. What this allows you to do is actually auto-create members when they opt in to a page or when they make an order or something like that, so that you can actually automatically create membership access for them so that you can get them into a members area without them having to put in a username and password and go through the normal ClickFunnels member creation process. It just makes everything simpler, and you can actually then send them an email with their password. So basically they can go from opting in straight into the members area or buying a product and going straight into the members area where they get the content. So it's an immediate delivery of that, and it simplifies the process a lot more. And then you can send them an email and say, hey, here's how to access the content, here's your username, here's your email address, or here's your email address for your username, and here's the password that you'll use to log in. And then from there they can actually go back and log in later. So I'm going to walk through and show you how to do this. It's pretty simple. So I've got a simple funnel set up here with just an opt-in page and a thank you page. This is going to be a free members area, but you could do this with a paid membership area. You could do this with an order form versus what I have now is just an opt-in page. You would just put this code on your order form page instead of the opt-in. So it's pretty simple. And then we'll have a thank you page, and this could be your order confirmation page that you would use. And what that will do is actually say, hey, thanks so much for signing up, and it'll actually give them the access, give them the ability to click a button to go straight in the members area. You'll let them know on that page that, hey, we went ahead and created an account for you. Here's super simple. Here's your email address, and here's your password that we've set for you, so they actually can visually see what the password is, so they can go log in themselves later if they want to. So just gives people an easy way to know that you've created a members account and that they have a password already set and what that is in case they don't get the email. So we try and keep it pretty nice for you. So let's go ahead and run through this. So we've got just an opt-in page, and what we want to do is actually grab the code for the opt-in page. You're going to grab this from the members area, probably just below this video, and there's going to be two pieces of code that you'll need to grab. The first one is for your opt-in page or your order form, and that is the code to auto-create the password when somebody submits the form. So we're going to go ahead and grab that code now. So let me jump over into my code editor. So this is that code, and it's pretty short, and there's just one thing that you need to do is you'll need to actually set what pass field name do you want to use. So what field name do you want to use for your temporary password? And you'll need to use this, you'll need to have this be the same on the opt-in page as on your thank you page or your confirmation page. So it comes as default as just CFPT temp pass for CF Pro Tools temp pass. You can certainly leave it as that, but if you use this on multiple members areas within the same funnel, and that you might have the same audience going through those, you might want to set it uniquely for each of those members areas. Otherwise, it's going to get overwritten, and what was previously their temporary password might get actually changed inside of their contact profile, because you'll actually be able to see this password inside their contact profile. So you might want to set them uniquely. So you could set it, say for example, if it could be my example temp pass. And then for another funnel, you might want to use, and it doesn't even have to have the temp pass, but it just makes it easier to see on that one. And it could be my example 2 temp pass, or it could be my funnel temp pass, or if your product name was Yoga Funnel Secrets, it could be YFS temp pass, or again, CF Pro Tools is CFPT temp pass. And so you'll want to set it kind of uniquely for that if you're going to have multiple funnels that might use this tool. So that's the big thing to be aware of here. Otherwise, we're just going to grab all of this, we're going to copy it, and then we're going to go back into our funnel and we're going to edit this opt-in page. And then we're going to go ahead and get this installed. And so it's going to pull up our opt-in page here. And it's going to open this up inside of the editor. And then we're just going to go into settings and tracking code and then footer code. And then we're going to go ahead and paste that code in. And that's all we need to do on our opt-in page. So I'm going to go ahead and save that page. And then this opt-in page actually opens the opt-in and pop-up. So nothing to do with the form itself. It's collects a name and email address. The code actually just ties in, so you understand kind of how it works. If we look at the code, all it does is it says, hey, when somebody submits the form, when the submit form button is clicked, then create a temporary password using a random password function, and then go ahead and append a new input field with that temporary password on it to the form that ClickFunnels grabs and that gets submitted to ClickFunnels to store that contact information, and then also set it locally on the browser for the customer or for your lead at this point, so that we can reference it on our future pages. So that's all this is doing. That's all we need to do there. So we've got the first piece installed. And then the next step we want to do is actually install on our thank you page. And so we need to configure this a little bit. And in order to configure this one, let's go ahead and jump into this code. This code is slightly different, so we've got a few other configuration options. Again, we want to grab the pass field name, and that's the same name that we set on this first piece of code. So this code here, this field name here, and this field name need to be the same. They need to match. The reason being is that we grab the value, we take this and we grab its value for their temporary password. We grab it out of that local storage, out of that browser storage for your customer. We grab that value out so we can then display it on this page, as well as create the member from that. So this is the piece of code that actually creates the member. So we need to grab a few more things from this. So in order to grab these others, the page key, the page ID, and then the membership access URL, we need to actually go into our members area. So in this one, you'll set up your members area just like normal. You have a member access page, and you'll have a member URL, or I'm sorry, a members area. So we're going to actually go to our members area, and from that one, we're going to grab our secret signup URL, and we're going to go copy that, and I'm going to open this up in a new incognito window. I'm going to paste that in there. One thing we want to do right off the bat is we're going to go ahead and grab this, and we're going to paste this in here, because this is going to be our members area, member access URL. So we're going to grab this value here, and this is going to be, we're going to go back, and if we look at this code, this is actually going to be our member access URL right here. So we're going to paste that in here, and then let's go back to that page. And now if we actually hit enter to actually load this page, we're going to grab a few more values. So this is actually going to load for a second. It's going to give us a few values. And what we're going to look at is one, we're going to need to grab our page ID. That is in this URL when we go to the secret access URL. So we're going to grab that page ID, and we're going to put that right here where it says page ID. And then the other piece is the page key, and we need to grab that right here where it says page key equals. We need to grab what comes after the equals and then up to the ampersand sign. So if you just double click on there, it's actually going to copy that, and it's going to go in between the equals and the ampersand. So we're going to copy that value, and then we're going to paste that in here. So again, we need to grab what comes after the page ID equals, and then we don't want the ampersand, we just want the number that's in between there. So it's page ID. And then we also, we want to go back here. There we go. And then we want to grab page key equals, and then what's between the equal sign for page key and the ampersand here. We don't want the ampersand. So we just want to grab that right there, and we're going to copy that. Okay, so those go into the page ID and the page key here. And then the page, the member access URL is that link that you get from right here. It's your secret signup URL. Okay, and so now we've got this code configured, and then this code just kind of runs through, and it says, hey, grab the temporary password out of local storage, grab the email out of local storage, and then go ahead and set up a member creation URL using the current domain. Your members area needs to be on the domain that your opt-in form is on. So you can't have your opt-in form be on one domain and your members area be on a different domain. It doesn't work when we're doing, because this is all happening behind the scenes. So that's one important piece of this, is your opt-in form or your order form and your members area need to be on the same domain. If they're not on the same domain, it's going to cause problems, and you're not going to be able to actually submit this via Ajax, which is what this does. So it's not going to be able to submit it behind the scenes because the browser won't like that. It doesn't, it's against kind of browser security rules. So that's an important piece to remember here, is that your opt-in form and your members area need to be on the same domain. In this case, they are. They're both running under my my ClickFunnels test subdomain, but they could be on a custom domain. That's totally fine. It's just your opt-in form and your order form and your members area need to be on the same domain. If you're using custom domains, they need to be on the same custom domain, or they need to be on the same subdomain with your ClickFunnels account. And then we've got code here that basically goes through and will auto-generate the member based on the email, the password that they sent in, and it will take that page key and page ID in order to be able to do that. And then it creates a member, and then it will actually even log in the console to say the member was created, or if something went wrong, it failed. The other piece that we can do is actually set up so that our page can display that information. So let's go ahead and grab this code. Right now, we've got it all configured. Let's go ahead and grab this code. We're going to go into our thank you page, and we're going to go ahead and edit this page. And this will load up our thank you page. And so now we want to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to go to settings and then tracking code and then footer code. We're going to go ahead and paste that code in. And that's all we need to do there. But we also want to be able to say, you know, hey, thanks, we created you an account. Or we created you a login. Okay, and then this, you know, you might do a video for this or whatever, but I'm going to say we went ahead and created you a login for our fancy new members area. Your details are below. And then we'll put a new, I'm just going to create a new headline, but you could do it all in the same one. And we're just going to say email. And then we're going to put we're going to put curly braces, email. And then we'll skip down a line and we'll do password. And then double curly braces. And then we'll do temp underscore pass. Just like that. So it needs to be these. It needs to be the double curly braces email and the double curly braces temp pass. And the reason for that is the code. If we look in the code, we can see here that that's what that is exactly what the code is looking for. It's looking for email and temp pass. And then we call these double curly braces handlebars. And so handlebars is a JavaScript library that is looking for this set of double curly braces, and then whatever's in between it, it's going to look for a value, and it's going to replace the whole thing with that value. So that's what our code does. So we might do set these as bold. I kind of like that. We'll do that. And then the next step we need to do is we need to actually set the name for this headline to something specific. So we're going to call this the CF Automember Info. That's what we need to name this. So if we go to the settings for this headline now, we can go down to the Get CSS Info, and we need to set that as the title here in our CSS info. That's what tells the code that, hey, this is the field where we want to display their email and their password that they set on the first page. So we'll go ahead and click update, and then now we have that. And then you can actually set the action on your button to go to the member access page, actually set it to go to the members area, to the login. And we can set this to go to the login URL. So if we go here and we want to set the action on our button to just that login URL, and I kind of like to open these in a new tab or window so they have their thank you page over here. You don't have to do that. That's just kind of how I set it up. And then we can just say, yeah, we can leave the text the same there. And now we have this set up. And so we've done all of our setup now. We've got our code configured. We've grabbed our page ID. We've got our page key. We've got our pass field name to match. We set our member access URL. So this is all set to go. And we've also set up our button to link to the login area. What's going to happen is when the code calls to create the new member, they'll automatically be logged in. So now when they click the button, they'll go directly into the content because they're already logged into the membership area, because that happens behind the scenes. So they won't have to log in. They'll have the email and password if they need to later in the future, but the button will automatically take them to a logged in members area because they've already created a members account because we did it for them automatically. So that's all we need to do there. So if we save that, now we can exit back out of this. And then let's go ahead and go in now and just give this a spin and see how it works. Oh, one other thing that we'll want to set up, and this is important, we'll want to set up an email to go out. And we'll do this, the best way to do this is through the automation tab on the opt-in form. So we're going to go ahead and create an email here so that we can send them an email that says, hey, we created you a members account. Here's how to log in. So we're going to go, this is from me. So we'll set this up here, and the subject line is your new login information or something like that. Could be have your product name in here, but you set whatever subject you want there. We're going to send this one goes from CF Pro Tools, and the condition is going to be everyone, because everyone is set when somebody actually opts in. We know who they are, so we can send them an email. And then we want to just grab just a basic email template. So I'm going to use this template, and we'll go ahead and create that email. And then let's go ahead and open the editor. And then what we want to do, I'm going to delete out a bunch of this stuff that I don't need. And we'll delete this out. And we'll just leave that there. But what we want to do now is we want to, in this area, we'll say, hey there, we just created, or we'll say thanks so much. So thanks so much for signing up. We created you a members account, a members login. Here's how to get back in when you need it. And then you can give them the link. So the link is going to be the link to the actual login area, to the login URL. So we'll give them that. And we'll go back here. There we go. So we'll just give them that link. We'll paste that in there. And then I like to, even though most email clients will convert that to a link automatically, we'll go ahead and make it a link here. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. Just make sure you replace the entire thing. And then we'll go ahead and then we'll say email. And then we're going to put in email as this is the merge tag. And actually we'll make this uppercase, because even though it should work with the being lowercase, that's technically more accurate to make it uppercase. And then we'll do password. And then this one, we want to use the lowercase version because that's what we used here, but we want to actually grab this value. And that's what we want to put here. And we need to put the hashtag at the beginning and hashtag at the end. So these need to be hashtags, because this is what ClickFunnels looks for with email merge tags, is the hashtag. We use the double curly braces on the page, but that's specifically for the thank you page, and the code is a little bit different there. So, but in this one, we want to use the hashtags, and these are called email merge tags. You could also put in, if you collected their name, you could put in their first name. You could say, hey, first, like that. So we've got this email here. And so now we want to save this, and then we're going to close it out. And so now this email is going to go out when they opt in. That's going to say, hey, we created you new, your new login information. Okay, so let's go ahead and now give this a shot. So let's grab our URL. And we're going to go ahead, this is our funnel step URL, so I'm going to go ahead and right click on this, and I'm just going to do open link in incognito window. And it opened up on another page for me over here, so I'm going to drag it back over. There we go. And so now we have our page, we're on our opt-in page. So let's go ahead and click on show me the formula, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my name in here. And then I'm going to put in a test email address so we can see that this works. And this is 10/27/19-1. This is the first time I've tested it. When you're testing things, I always recommend using a unique email address so that you can kind of confirm that everything's working as you'd expect, and you don't get clogged up with using the same email over and over again. So the way I do that is to use the plus sign. Anything that between the plus and the at kind of gets ignored by most email services. So I always put the date, so it's October 27th right now, 10/27/19, and then -1. You change this to -2, -3, -4 for the number of times you tested it during the day. So now we've got this set up. We can go ahead and opt in. So we're going to go ahead and opt in, and then what we should see, if everything's working properly, is that it tells us, hey, we've created you a login for your fancy new members area. Your details are below. Here's the email address. Here's your password. And then we should be able to click this button, and it should, fingers crossed, take us directly into the members area. We did not have to log in or any of that. We now have, we're already logged in. And if we go back and look at this page, and if we right click on this, we'll see a fancy little message in our console. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And if we click on console, then we can see that it says member auto created. So that's how we know that it worked. It created our member for us. And so when it did that, it automatically logged us in. Now we're inside the members area and we're already logged in. And then let's just double check here. And I'm going to pull up my email over here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this over. And we can see right here that I already got the email, and the email says, hey, Jamie, grab my first name. Even though I put in Jamie Smith, it grabbed my first name. It says, thanks so much for signing up. We created a members login. Here's how to get back in when you need it. Here's the link. Here's your email, and here is the password that was set. So you'll notice the password even shows up in the email. So we're able to merge that password over that we randomly created for them. So now they have a random password that gets created. So it's not creating the same password for everybody because that makes your members area a little less secure. So this is creating a random password, and the user actually gets an email with that random password assigned to them automatically. So this is a pretty cool setup, and I think it will help a lot with your users. It'll make it an easier process for them. They won't have to jump through another hoop after having just opted in or just purchased. They won't have to then take that purchase and go and create their own account. Even though that's nice, this makes it a little more seamless for them. So hopefully that all makes sense, and hopefully you use this to your advantage and for your customers' experience. So hopefully you like it, and I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.